Second half of chapter 12. Parley means discussion with leadership. Nonsense, Blackbird roared. You're the perfect lad, mate for the job. Mom never listens to me. But has she ever stabbed you? Blackbird asked. Well, no. John was still having a difficult time reconciling the stories of his mom killing a shark and a jaguar with such ease. He remembered how his mom spent most of her free time planning birthday parties and decorating the house for holidays. Blackbird put his arm around John's shoulder and walked him to the door of the deck. Remember, Blackbird said, you need to convince her to relinquish control of the ship. Savvy? It's not that I don't know what you want me to do. I'm just not sure if I can do it, John said. Hey, just look her in the eye and don't get stabbed. Blackbird pushed John out of the captain's quarters and slammed the door behind him. John slunk up the ladder and said his most cheerful, Hi, Mom. To which his mom rose an eyebrow and said, John, what are you supposed to call me? The whole crew already knows you're my mom, John shrugged. That Blackbird, she shook her head. He just has to tell everybody everything, doesn't he? She changed her grip on the ship's wheel, but didn't move from her place at the great helm. Great, John thought. Now she's mad, and I haven't even asked her to give up the ship. John paused to think for a moment. He didn't actually want her to give up the ship, did he? With the ship, she could find lost treasure and travel back in time to his home. What did it matter if Blackbird, a pirate John had just met, lost his ship? John looked around the deck, watching the pirates. Some of them pulled lines attached to sails, and some of them swabbed the deck. Some of them tended to deck cannons. All of them, however, snuck worried glances at John's mom and muttered at one another in low tones that they were lost under the howl of the wind. What if the crew mutinied? John wondered. That would remove his mom from command and probably get her killed. That wouldn't be good. Blackbird and Mr. Owens were right. John realized his mom couldn't remain in charge of the ship. Nothing good would come of it. So he said, the crew is worried. Worried? His mom kept her attention on the horizon. They're worried that you've gone crazy, he said. His mom laughed. I'm just trying to get home, John. I know that, but the crew doesn't know that. Well, they wouldn't believe me if I told them. His mom continued to ease the wheel back and forth. I'd go from being the unmerciful to just crazy. What do you think would happen then? The crew? They'd turn on me, of course. She looked at John with partially squinted eyes that seemed to say, I'm the parent, you're the child. What if she is crazy? John wondered. Too much time marooned on a deserted island, too much time with pirates, too long from civilization. Not that he could call his mom crazy and expect anything other than a lecture. If the stories Blackbird had been telling John were true, his mom might even welcome a counter-mutiny. John needed to win her back to his side. He could think of no better tactic than to tell her the truth. Mom, the crew would be more comfortable with Blackbird back in charge, John said. His mom said nothing. As her silence grew, John worried he'd said the wrong thing and she was going to start yelling again, like she did when they left the harbor. To John's surprise, his mom said, only if Blackbird agrees to search for the chest. He already did that, didn't he? John asked. Well, that was before Blackbeard got mad at him. Well, Blackbeard had already been mad at him. John realized bringing the ship up wasn't going to help anything and changed his tactic by saying, he thinks Blackbeard wants him dead. He won't go back to Nassau anytime soon. Fine, John's mom said. Go get Blackbird and have him come up here and declare to the crew that his plan was successful. His plan? John said. Yes, he can restore order by claiming it was his plan, his mom said. She left one hand on the wheel and turned to face John. Or he can throw me overboard. Which one do you prefer? I'll go talk to Blackbird. Yeah, John definitely wanted to avoid having his mom thrown overboard. Back in the captain's quarters, John told Blackbird and Mr. Owens of the conversation with his mom, with the parrot occasionally interrupting to repeat some of John's words. Once John had finished up the tale, Blackbird picked up his tri-cornered hat off of his desk, just so he could throw it back down. She wants me to take credit for that insane move back there with the sandbars? With Blackbeard? Yes, John confirmed. Blackbird picked up his hat again, smoothed out the dented-in corner. I should never have let her save me from that firing squad, Blackbird sighed. I thought she saved you from a shark. Yeah, that one I'm glad she saved me from. Death by a shark would not be good. Blackbird brought his hands together with his fingers spread wide to mime a giant shark's jaw. What a horrible way to go. All those teeth. All the ways I've almost died. The shark, that one scared me the most. How many times have you almost died? John asked. At least 2 cats worth, Blackbird said. More or less. John recalled the saying about cats having 9 lives each. Ooh, ye be counting the twice you fell overboard? Mr. Owens asked. No, of course not, Blackbird said. That was just falling overboard, hardly close to death. Are you counting the monkeys then? Mr. Owens asked. Yes, I was counting the monkeys. Blackbird stroked his beard. A few crumbles of almonds spilled out of it. You still think they were more embarrassing than anything, don't you? They were vicious monkeys. Vicious monkeys? The parrot parroted. What monkeys? John asked. Blackbird sat behind his desk with a sigh. Too long of a story to tell you. Too long. Well, you see, what happened was monkeys pelted the captain with bananas. They threw bananas at him. Blackbird rolled his eyes. Okay, so it's not that long of a story. Just embarrassing. So you'll do it? John asked. You'll get the ship back. Blackbird stood, and he whistled for his parrot, which flew across the room and perched on his shoulder. Hey, wish me luck, guys. I'm off to convince my crew that I'm not as crazy as Mary. John followed the captain outside and up to the quarterdeck where the captain stopped and fidgeted without saying anything. Go on. You can do it, John whispered. Blackbird shooed John away. John glanced to his mom, who seemed intent on pretending not to watch the captain. John opened his eyes wide and nodded towards Blackbird, hoping his mom would make the first move. She rolled her eyes and straightened her posture. Captain, your plan to jump the sandbar worked perfectly, John's mom said. There's no way Blackbeard will catch us now. She almost bowed and stepped away from the ship's wheel. Yes, my plan. My plan worked. Thank you, Mary. Blackbird took the wheel in his hand. He tested the spin of it, putting the ship to a lurch. Starboard, everybody stumbled, except John's mom. Whoa, this thing turns on a doubloon. Blackbird held out a nervous laugh. All right, men, let's go win a surprise. The crew cheered. John's mom led John below decks to her cabin. Kind of small, don't you think? John asked. Well, the ship wasn't made with a woman in mind, John, his mom said. The crew all share their berths. This was the only closet William Blackbird could part with. This will be our cabin for the voyage. John looked around. There's only one bed. Oh, you'll be sleeping back at home. You'll be sleeping in your own bed, John, his mom said. Home. John had lost track of time, and now the thought about home reminded him he'd been gone for many hours. How long? Long enough to miss lunch. Speaking of home, I should probably go, Mom. You're right. You should go. And remember, yeah. I don't have to come back. I know, John said, anticipating his mom's words. But I want to help. When will we get where we're going? The winds are high, his mom said. We're probably doing 20 knots. At this rate, we'll reach Andros Island in a few hours. Once we get there, we'll have to find the cove where I washed up. You might as well stay away for at least a day. John wasn't sure that he could stay away that long, but he also wasn't sure what mood his dad would be in when he got home. I'll be back as soon as I can, John said. He reached for the eye patch and stopped. He ran to his mom, and he gave her a huge hug. I love you, Mom. I love you too, John. Okay, time to see how much trouble I'm in. And he took off his eye patch.